This issue of Fashion Classics discovered the designers and models who gave Milan its muscle as a fashion capital for spring 2005. Karl Lagerfeld launches the spy bag at Fendi.
That's why it's called the spy, because you can look behind you.
At Marni, Consuelo Castiglione finds a fan in current model favorite, Daria.
It's one of my favorite shows. I love her clothes.
Kate Moss drops by to see her mate, Christopher Bailey, at Burberry Prorsum.
I love Christopher. I just know what he's where he's going and what he's thinking.
Miuccia Prada continues to show every other designer how the job should be done. Meet Caroline Trentini, one member of the fashion flock who's not yet jaded or cynical. And more from Milano. Backstage, the Mac Daddy of Milan, Roberto Cavalli, was king of all he surveyed. Oozing Italian charm, Cavalli couldn't contain his passion for women.
I try every woman to be special, different, sexy, just feminine. I love every woman, and I hope that all of you love me.
With lust in the air, the hair and makeup look played to a man's desire of women.
The inspiration is coming from Brigitte Bardot when she first started. She was like, very sensual, very sexy, but she still had that very sexy, moody face. So that's what we're recreating today. Basically, I want every man in the audience to die for those girls, and I want every woman to be super jealous.
This Cavalli girl is part of the bohemian jet set. With a collection titled Fashion Traveler, she is definitely on the move. Life is good for Roberto, and ever the gracious host, his show was staged to resemble part of his lavish hillside home in Florence, where summer's journey began.
I decided that every season, every show, I want to show you a part of my house where I live. Maybe the next time it will be the park, my garden, my animals, and all my models, all the beautiful girls that today we show my collection. Tonight are my guests.
The beginning is Tuscany. After we go immediately to Saint-Tropez because it's a woman that she's traveling, a woman that she's looking for wonderful places, and she's picking up things from these places. She picks up bikinis like jewels, she picks up big volume skirts, she picks up feather-light dresses that are not constricting her and nasty. She doesn't want to be constricted, she wants to be free.
I say to all my model, go very fast, because most of the pieces, they are very light silk, and I want that they are going fast just to make the silk flying, like clouds, freedom. Piece by piece, for me, I like my painting. Today, really more than usual, I want to show that I am son of the arts. We don't have to leave space to the commercial part, because every woman wants to be different, wants to be special.
She's a free woman. She has many, many faces, like we all have.
I don't want to be designer, I want to be artist. Fashion today needs creation and more artistic person.
Making her first of several runway appearances this season was Anna von Ravenstein Cleveland, daughter of modeling powerhouse Pat Cleveland.
Well, my mom, she's great, you know. It's just like, what can I have the best with me all the time?
I give her tips and she teaches me too. But the most important thing is do it with a lot of love, you know? And when you do that, that's the big tip.
I always like to have tips from her because she's one of the most famous, you know, greatest. Mwah.
As the gals hung out backstage, hair and makeup teams got busy.
At Fendi, we're doing just really, really beautiful, 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 beautiful faces, which means like a little bit of sculpting of the face, a little pink blush, a little pale, pale pink lip gloss.
The hair today is different on every girl, so it's kind of like a girl on holiday going off to have cocktails at the beach bar and just pinning her hair up after a day at the beach, and she loves the way her hair looks.
On the runway, it was a recent exhibition of Spanish artist Miro that kicked off the color palette for designer Karl Lagerfeld.
The highlights for me were the dresses that had amazing color, which was based on early Miro paintings, but then with the inserts of macrame and crochets, which gave it a kind of tribal feel. I felt at times it looked almost Maasai, North African.
Because I loved the exhibition at Beaubourg. I thought it was very beautiful. And there was in the early painting, the painting with the garden. In the garden were all those colors. And I used those colors, what I remembered. I didn't take the painting next to it. But I liked the mix and the bright yellow, the blue, the red, the orange, and the pink all together, and used that collection. In fact, you may put it next to the painting. There's nothing to do with it. Huh? That's not the problem. But that's the starting point. Huh?
Increasingly, celebrities are choosing Fendi for their red carpet appearances. And Karl had a few suggestions.
I personally would suggest the big dresses with the floating thing behind, and also the color dresses, the color blocks and things like this, and then the very sexy yellow dress and all those things, and dresses with all body contours with suddenly some petticoat coming out and things like this. I mean, there is a big choice and a big possibility of suggestion for this kind of occasion.
Even for summer, Karl is able to bring new innovations to fur, the mainstay of the House of Fendi.
You know, in a way, fur treated like this is not as hot as cashmere. And it's not always hot in the summer, especially in the evening. So there is a use for light summer pieces too, but not for heavy mink coats.
This season also saw the introduction of the latest must-have accessory from Fendi, the spy bag.
I think they're quite renewed, no? The spy bag, the one with there's a little chink and there's a mirror you don't see. That's why it's called the spy, because you can look behind you.
There was just so much to love in that collection.
Looking through the racks of clothes, the knowing smile of Vogue's editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour, sealed the fate of Burberry Prorsum and its designer, Christopher Bailey. If that wasn't enough, Kate Moss, the face of Burberry, was at a loss to find the right words to describe her love for the label's creative director.
I love Stephane. I just think he's got I just know what he's, you know, like where he's going and what he's thinking. Like I get what he's doing. Like and he gets.
For me, it's very important to seduce people with the whole image.
Bailey's image for summer began with a hair and makeup.
It's just a very mixed palette that basically just echoes a certain spirit.
It's tone on tone, like muddy pinks, taupes. It's kind of referencing to the clothes, like ivory. We're trying to keep them a little bit paler. Obviously, if they're dark, then we're just going with it. If the girls are pale, we're trying to keep them pale, because you know what? You can be gorgeous and pale. You don't have to be brown.
The inspiration was like a English garden party sort of vibe, sort of reminiscent 1930s. The other half of the girl was going to be a little bit Bianca Jagger, so the hair was going to be soft and feminine but with a slight sort of 70s feel to it. Always has to look like the girl could have done it herself, not by a hairdresser or the makeup, anything like that, just so it all goes with the clothes really.
The key to the phenomenal success of Burberry under Bailey's direction is his offhanded approach to the clothes. It earned him British Fashion Designer of the Year in 2005. For this collection, the attitude was as easy as a stylish walk in the park.
I wanted you to feel like you were just going out for a picnic in the park. There's some wind, there's a little bit of sun, you're thrown on together. I wanted that whole kind of easiness of getting dressed. And so it is soft, it is romantic, but there's an elegance to it as well, a slightly disheveled elegance. Basically, I never really work thematically. What I do is I do it really from a feeling. And what I'm trying to do always is create a total mood of the whole thing. I really look at the whole collection very three-dimensionally. I look at all the different elements.
I loved it. I always think, when I think Christopher's reached the pinnacle of something, he always surprises us and goes even further. And this today was a culmination of so many threads that he introduced over the past few seasons, and I think it all came together, from the femininity to the tailoring, to the heritage pieces of the trench coat that he incorporated, to the check, to the kilt, and his mixing of colors. He's really a true colorist because he can play with brights and very sort of Hockney type colors at the same time, a whole pastel palette. It's very not always easy, so he always pulls it off. So many things he's been working with, it seems to have all come together in a very comfortable way, in a very feminine way, so we're quite pleased.
I wanted the collection to feel soft, romantic. I wanted the whole mood to be very sophisticated.
Sunny days and happy accidents is how one writer described the Marni collection for summer. The carefree attitude began backstage.
Today the hair is kind of very ethereal and wispy and dreamlike, so it's kind of up and down and very loosely done, so it looks like kind of the girl did it herself, but there's no way she could. We are doing a modern 19th century face in terms of we are not using any powder, so it is quite of a pale skin, very pale eyes, no mascara. The lipstick is basically a burgundy lipstick that we apply, and after with a tissue we get rid of the lipstick to just give like a very fruity, kissable lips.
It's one of my favorite shows. I love her clothes. It's so wearable, but it's unique. It's the way it's cut, the way it's shaped, the fabrics. It's so beautiful. The jewelry's incredible. All the little trinkets and things. The shoes are great. It's just really wearable and fun, and I love her stuff. It's always a pleasure to do her show.
I loved it. We're big Marni fans, and we love what Consuela does. It's just like a super charm, super pretty, good color combos. I mean, it's just like, it's like chic style, but you can really sell it.
I am not used to seeing evening wear at Marni, and I thought that some of it was really lovely. Some of it was a little tricky to wear. But the pieces that I did like, which were these dresses that just sort of swirled around the body, I thought were really keeping in the spirit of Marni.
Just the way she can take simple fabrics and make them look super, super chic, like a linen burlap or like a featherweight silk taffeta. And then she just takes a little belt and maybe a little bit of a sparkle, and maybe sometimes puts a crop pant underneath it. And the shoes were fabulous, those wooden platforms in the different colors. I loved it.
Now I think people come to Milan looking for interesting pieces that can be mixed and matched and that favor a much more humble, eclectic, hand-worked feeling. It's definitely the influence of Marni, which has really changed, I think, the way a lot of women dress, women who follow fashion dress, and it's probably moved all the way into the high street to the Gap. I mean, I think Marni's influence on contemporary women's style for themselves has been extraordinary.
For most, it was just another early morning in Milan, but swarmed by the media and at the center of pre-show backstage commotion, the Anglo-Italian Antonio Berardi perfected one of his favorite summer looks, which symbolized the spirit of his collection.
Pure rock star, and I think it's kind of like, it's delicate, it's hard at the same time, and I guess it sums up what I'm about. It's actually a Mac, and it's a double Mac because it's made of two Macs, and the idea was that people don't normally tailor it, and I love the idea that you could have something tailored which was as soft and as light and moves like a dream, and Swarovski have made my dreams come true.
The makeup and hair rendered an amusing vision of post-revolutionary France.
For Antonio Berardi, we decided to do the story. It's Les Incroyables, just after the French Revolution. It's why you're doing like many bread in the back, but in the messy way, not very clean, like a Mohican. And in the front, we decided to do something very chic, very clean, but all the time with messy hair and wet hair just here. And the piece of hair here on the neck and very wet and sunshine.
The makeup today is all about beautiful, gorgeous skin. Gorgeous skin, it's been sun-kissed, there's a bit of a tan going on, there's like a bronze shadow under the lash line just to give a little bit of sex. It's just a very beautiful, simple makeup.
Sex and serious tailoring were at the center of Berardi's collection. Extravagantly beaded collars, regal silhouettes, and rich fabrics added to the sensuality of the looks. Always the showman, Berardi's models walked the runway with leather-bound library books teetering on their heads. The designer's literary references began with post-revolutionary France, infused, of course, with a contemporary edge.
I started off looking at Les Incroyables and Les Merveilleuses because I loved the contrast of very, very fitted and very, very big and light and floaty. And that's how it started. I love the idea of that very, very strict tailoring. It was perfect, obviously, to give that idea of Les Incroyables too. Then we kind of became a bit more couture-y, we became a bit more 50s, and we became a bit more librarian. Because I love the strictness of a librarian. I love the fact that you have these ultra-feminine, ultra-sexy women who are seen in a completely different light. So we've kind of dusted them off for this season and made them look fabulous.
When Caroline Trentini was just 14 years old, she was spotted by an eagle-eyed model scout in her hometown.
They discovered me walking in the street and they asked me to go to the bigger town and visit some agency. Then I went to São Paulo, because I'm from Brazil, and I started. Then I came here like a year and a half ago for the first time. I never thought I could be a model. Then they asked me, they said I could be, and then I talked to my mom, and she said, "Oh, okay, let's try." And then I tried, and here I am.
Despite her own success, starting at such a young age is not something that Caroline would encourage other girls to do.
I mean, not that young. Could be like 16 to 17, not too young like me, because I stopped school as well. That's something not so good. But I'm going to start it again. It's cool. I love it. I love it so much because I didn't think about it before, but now I'm like in love with the career. I love to do shows so much. I love to shoot as well, but I like more even do shows. I think it's cool to get a little nervous because otherwise it's boring. I'm simple. I don't like to go out so much. I'm really like family and friends. That's how I am. I have 2 older sisters. They love it. They love it. They student, but they always like to see myself in the magazines.
Her sisters aren't the only ones.
It's so nice. I love to see myself in the magazines and in the advertising.
Hair and makeup at Prada took on a late 60s vibe. Think Warhol cool, not White House sophistication.
What we've done is we've put extensions in the front so there's no layers in the hair, so it's very sort of like virginal in a way, kind of a look, very sort of classic, uncomplicated.
Very fresh skin, bleached brows, very brave look, fresh matte skin, and teeny little bit of blush on the girls that need it, teeny bit of eye makeup on the girls that need it, and it's just a very fresh and brave, cool look.
In Prada, Mucci actually said that she wanted to get away from the ladylike tailoring for 2 reasons. One, she felt it was time for a change, and I think secondly, and she agreed with me, because so many people have copied her. That ladylike look is in every store, every high street chain around the globe.
You know, I actually love the suits. It's had a long time since we've seen suits. Those knitted suits, the navy cocktail suit, and then I loved all the really cute little short dresses like the yellow one on Daria. It's fabulous.
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it had the whole world beat thing, which everyone's trying to do, but it had it in a really modern and thought-out way. And it had everything that people want from Prada, which is great originality and amazing accessories.
As she said, less lady, more sport. And then mixed in with that was that kind of Rasta association with the crochet caps and the Rasta colours. Lots of crochet, and then this theme of the birds. So you had birds embroidered on things, you had feathers, you had bird-like colours and plumage, but still the concentration on handwork.
Right now, I think the best collections are not just doing pretty. They're doing pretty, but with more structure, with a kind of a boys or a sport edge. And this, it was absolutely fluid. It wasn't a forced reference to uniform chic or menswear or minimalism. It just somehow cleaned up and yet stayed true to where she is right now, which isn't a sort of day for evening, luxe all the time, jewels can be anywhere, even on a mesh hat kind of mood. It was really great.
I loved it. I loved all the new proportions and the colors and the sophistication, and you know, as usual, I think Mucci was the high point of Milan. I thought it was really fabulous.